It's almost hard to wrap your head around just how big digital advertising on the open internet actually is.
It really is.
We're talking, what, north of $935 billion dollars.
Uh-huh.
Massive.
Yeah, that's a huge engine driving, well, so much of what we do online. And figuring out the key players, that's pretty crucial if you want to understand where things are actually going, which is
Exactly.
what we're doing today, right? Diving into the trade desk.
Absolutely. TTD, as they're often called, a really pivotal company in programmatic advertising.
Right, programmatic. That's the automated buying and selling of ad space.
That's the one. And to get a clear picture, we've been looking closely at their Q1 2025 earnings call, their investor stuff, and also some third-party analysis. Guru Focus, actually.
Oh, yeah. What do they highlight?
They really pointed out TTD's impressive earnings beat, their financial performance. It backed up what TTD was saying. Okay, good stuff. So, our mission for you today: pull out the most important insights, right? About the trade desk's recent wins, their tech, their vision for, advertising on the open internet.
Yep. And keep it straightforward. Avoid getting totally lost in the technical weeds.
Perfect. Okay, so let's unpack this. That strong Q1 performance really got people talking.
It did. As Sean Patel from Susquehanna mentioned on their call, it was a very strong quarter and very strong start to the year.
And the numbers.
The numbers definitely back that up. Q1 2025 revenue, $616.021 million. That's up 25% from the same time last year.
Wow, 25%. And this isn't just some recent fluke, is it? I think I saw they've been profitable for ages.
Yeah, you're right. Since way back in 2013, according to their materials. So,
Yeah.
yeah, sustained profitability suggests a pretty solid base.
Definitely.
And it's also worth noting their adjusted EBITDA for Q1 came in at $207.875 million. That's non-GAAP.
Right, EBITDA. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, basically a measure of operating profit.
Right. Exactly. So they're not just growing fast, they're doing it profitably, which is, key.
Okay, so the present's looking good. What's actually driving this? Technology, innovation. That seems to be the story. And this Kokai platform keeps popping up.
You're spot on. Kokai is clearly a huge deal for them. They're calling it their biggest engineering achievement yet.
Big claim.
It is. And it's fueled by some pretty advanced AI. And the interesting part is we're already seeing some, well, pretty remarkable results from clients using it.
All right, let's hear them. What kind of actual results are we talking?
Okay, so one really compelling example they shared was Deutsche Telekom for their Magenta TV streaming service.
Okay.
They used Kokai to get more subscribers, right?
Okay.
And the results were, well, pretty significant. An 11-fold improvement in post-click conversions, things they could directly link to the ads.
11 times. That's huge.
It is. And maybe even more impressive, the cost for each of those conversions. It improved by 18 times.
Wow, 11x and 18x. That's not just tweaking things. That sounds like a step change. What makes it so effective, do you think? Better data, smarter algorithms.
It's probably a mix of things, right?
Yeah.
From what they're saying, Kokai uses more advanced AI, digs through tons of data in real time, which lets them target audiences much more precisely.
Yeah.
And bid more effectively. So likely less wasted money, better engagement.
Makes sense.
And it seems Deutsche Telekom was so happy they're planning to use Kokai for more of their advertising now, which seems to be a common pattern. Test it, see the results, then roll it out wider.
Right. Proves its value in the real world. Any other examples of Kokai's impact?
Yeah, definitely. Across different industries, clients who fully switched over are seeing big benefits. On average, they're seeing a 42% drop in cost per unique reach.
So, reaching more people for less cash.
Exactly. And it's also boosting those crucial lower funnel KPIs. The metrics closer to actual sales or signups.
Right. The stuff that really matters.
Totally. And on that front, clients are seeing 24% lower cost per conversion and 20% lower cost per acquisition using Kokai. So it's not just about eyes on the ad, it's driving real business outcomes.
It really does sound like a significant upgrade. But they also mentioned OpenPath and Unified ID 2.0, UID 2.
OpenPath. They position that as really important for the sort of long-term health of the open internet.
How so?
Basically, it gives advertisers a much clearer window into where their programmatic ad money is actually going, more transparency.
Ah, okay. And the fact that it's getting wider adoption suggests the industry sees the value there.
Seems like it. More transparency is usually a good thing in any market. Helps build trust.
True. And UID 2. They called it an upgrade, not a cookie replacement. Interesting phrasing.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
UID 2 is this open source tech. The idea is to improve how advertisers identify audiences, but do it in a really privacy-conscious way. which is, super important now.
Yeah.
It tries to create a consistent ID for users across different devices, different browsers. And it's built to be interoperable, so different ad tech bits can work with it.
So how's it an upgrade over cookies beyond the privacy aspect, other benefits?
Well, several things. It's governed independently, which adds like a layer of trust, reduces control by any one company.
Okay.
It's built with security and privacy baked in from the start. And it really emphasizes transparency and user control over their data. The Trade Desk is working with other industry groups to manage it too, which shows they're serious about this open standard idea.
Yeah, it sounds like they're thinking beyond just their own tech, trying to build a better ecosystem overall.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, their investor presentation really highlighted some key strategic areas. Connected TV, CTV was right up top. Why is that such a big deal for them?
Oh, they clearly see CTV as just a massive growth engine. They called it their largest and fastest growing channel.
Wow.
And when you look at their reach, they're connected to over 120 million CTV households, 90 million devices. You can see why they're excited.
Yeah, those are huge numbers. The shift from traditional TV to streaming is just undeniable. Advertisers have to follow the viewers.
Exactly. And the Trade Desk thinks their tech gives them a big edge over old school TV ad buying.
How so?
Well, traditionally, TV ads were bought based on, broad demographics, time slots, stuff like that.
Right.
With CTV, using a platform like theirs, advertisers can get way more granular, almost one-to-one targeting of specific customer groups in real time.
Which makes the ads more effective.
Right. And potentially means higher CPMs, cost per 1,000 views for the publishers, better value. They even gave an example, like a traditional TA buy might be a $10 CPM, but a targeted CTV buy could maybe pull a $20 CPM.
That's a pretty compelling value proposition for programmatic TV ads. And it's not just the buying, is it? They talked a lot about CTV measurement, too.
Crucial point, yeah. Being able to accurately measure how CTV campaigns are doing is vital for advertisers. They need to justify the spend, optimize things. So TTD is focused on providing tools that report across all video screens, track attribution across devices, see if someone saw an ad on their TV, then bought something on their phone, plus things like reach, frequency, completion rates, even getting into Nielsen ratings and impact on actual sales, really trying to show the full ROI on TV advertising.
Gotcha. Okay, another big area they flagged was shopper marketing, or retail media, as it's often called now. That seems to be booming everywhere.
It absolutely is. And TTD clearly sees it as a large opportunity, another key strategic area for them.
So what's the core idea there, using retailer data?
Pretty much. Leveraging all that rich data retailers have about what people buy, when, how often, using that to make advertising much more targeted and effective.
Like knowing someone's lifetime value or what they bought before.
Exactly. And managing how often they see ads for related stuff across different places, online and offline.
And they showed logos of some huge retailers, didn't they? Kroger, Walgreens, Target, Walmart.
Yeah, that gives you a sense of the scale, right? By letting marketers activate that retail data on their platform, they're aiming to give a much fuller picture of that whole customer journey, from seeing an ad to actually buying something.
Right, driving to better results. Okay, beyond specific channels, global expansion was another big theme. Makes total sense.
Totally. They pointed out that something like 2/3 of global ad spend happens outside North America.
Huge potential market, then.
Massive. And while they already have a decent footprint, 35 offices across the Americas, APAC, EMEA, currently about 88% of their spend is still North American, only about 12% international.
Oh, wow. So there's a big gap there. Lots of room to grow internationally.
Exactly. The infrastructure's there, the market's there. Now it's about capturing more of that international demand.
They also mentioned a couple other things briefly. Data marketplace and supply path optimization. Why are those important?
Good question. A strong data marketplace gives advertisers access to more varied data insights.
Right.
Helps refine targeting, understand audiences better, leads to smarter campaigns.
Okay.
Supply path optimization, or SPO, that's about cleaning up the ad buying process, cutting out unnecessary middlemen, making it more direct, more transparent.
So lower costs for advertisers, maybe more money for publishers?
Potentially, yeah. Both are really about making the whole programmatic system more efficient and valuable for everyone involved.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. How does the Trade Desk see its overall role in this open internet ecosystem they talk about.
They really position themselves as a key partner for their clients' growth, helping them unlock the full value of the open internet, which, as we said, is just this huge, diverse market.
Right.
And they emphasize that the shifts happening now are bigger than just, moving from traditional to digital. It's about using data and smart tech to make ads way more relevant and effective, drive better business results.
And they mentioned price discovery leading to healthier markets. What's that about?
Basically, creating a transparent marketplace where the real value of ad space on websites, in apps, gets figured out through open competitive bidding.
Okay.
That helps advertisers know they're paying a fair price and helps publishers get the full value for their content and audience. They contrast that with less clear bundled deals where you don't really know the value of each specific ad slot.
Got it. There was also that interesting question from an analyst, Vasily Kursyov, about what if Google, say, de-emphasized its open internet businesses? How did TTD respond?
Yeah, that's a big what if. They were careful, obviously didn't want to speculate too much,
Right.
but the general vibe was that more competition could actually be good for them and the open internet overall.
Interesting.
They seem pretty confident in their ability to compete, to innovate, maybe on a more level playing field. You sense they saw it as potentially creating more opportunities for independent players like them.
And it sounds like they're also seeing a difference between the traditional TV upfront market and programmatic digital right now.
Yeah, they suggested the linear TV upfronts where advertisers commit money for the year ahead might be a bit weaker this year, maybe due to economic uncertainty.
Okay.
But conversely, they expect demand for programmatic and digital to stay strong. They feel the flexibility and advanced capabilities of digital, powered by things like Kokai, make it better suited to navigate uncertainty compared to, those big, less flexible linear TV deals.
Right. Finally, let's touch on their core business model and values. How do they differentiate themselves?
They're very clear. They're a platform for ad buyers, agencies, brands, tech companies.
Not trying to replace agencies, then.
No, they stress they're an enabler, providing the tools buyers need. They see themselves as a partner, letting agencies use their own expertise and advantages on the TTD platform.
So positioning themselves as an ally to the buy side.
Exactly. And they really hammer home being objective, independent, transparent, saying their interests align with getting the best results for advertisers. They also pointed to their bid factors tech as a differentiator, compared to more traditional line items at other platforms.
What's the difference, sir?
Bid factors apparently allow for much more granular, expressive ways to set up bids. More control, more detailed reporting on how things are performing.
Sounds like something sophisticated advertisers would really value.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just reiterated they were committed to investing in core stuff, infrastructure, talent for long-term growth,
Right.
but also keeping an eye on efficiency, building a sustainable business.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. What are the absolute key takeaways for listeners from this deep dive on the trade desk?
I think a few main things. One, their recent financial performance is strong, and it's really powered by their tech platforms, especially Kokai, which is delivering some seriously impressive client results.
You're right.
Two, they've got a clear strategic focus on huge growth areas like connected TV and shopper marketing. That tells you where they see the future. Three, they're really invested in the open internet idea, pushing things like OpenPath and UID2 for more transparency and privacy.
And the last one.
And finally, just their robust financial model. They've shown they can grow profitably over the long haul. Put it all together, and you get a pretty good picture of a really influential player in digital advertising today.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, the aha moment was really grasping the scale of that open internet market, over $935 billion. It puts everything in perspective. And seeing those Kokai results, like the 11x and 18x improvements for Deutsche Telekom, that really drives home the impact of their tech.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, understanding these trends, it's just increasingly relevant, isn't it? Whether you're in marketing tech or just curious about how the digital world works, knowing about companies like TTD and their vision gives you really valuable context for market shifts, business strategies, all that stuff.
So maybe something to mull over as we wrap up. Think about where advertising on the open internet is really heading. How will that balance between traditional methods and these super data-driven programmatic approaches keep evolving? And what do things like AI and privacy tech like UID2 mean for businesses, but also for us as consumers down the road? Definitely a space to keep watching.